Liquor's tales of crime and affection. Baristas mix caffeine with tales of deception. Lawyers joke and shadows plot their redemption. Case files like popcorn scatter on the floor. Jury's out in line, folks begging for more. Quirky loopholes twist through every door. Paparazzi flash for the courtroom encore. Legal shenanigans, theater, baby, where justice lasts. Crime and humor dance, baby, a curious path. Grab your ticket, honey, let the gavel smash. In the flood of laughter, see the road splash. Scoundrels with a smile, defense on their lips.
Hello, everyone. Vale will be joining us shortly, I think, because he is in the process of doing a bunch of things this weekend. But we did want to go ahead and offer Legal Shenanigans Theater, and this is Elizabeth Wettlaufer. She was a nurse in elderly care homes in Canada, and unfortunately, she was a bit of a angel of death, if you will. So she was responsible for several, and I think it was at least 9 elderly deaths with overdoses on insulin. And just like last week, this woman's digestive system would like to leave the building because the whole woman's going down and they are not going with her. This is in Canada. I think I said that. I don't know why the closed captions are insanity already, but as always, we will be playing Blessed Be the Closed Captions. Oh, awesome. But remember to, when you start to feel that pain, Heidi, stop. I am one of those people that constantly pushes through and it never works out for me. So if you start to hurt, even if the lawn is half mowed, treat your ankle right and it will treat you right back. So this is her coming in. I do believe that the kind of genesis for her getting into this interrogation room, she did confess all of her unalivings to oh goodness, I believe a priest and or her NA meeting, and all of the people there were like, yeah, you need to probably tell the police this. So that is why she's here. She's a bit soft-spoken. I have pulled up the audio, and it is she is a very odd duck. And it's kind of hard to understand her, but she got a very good happy feeling when she did this. This was all about power for her and feeling powerful. She actually does have a rather sad story. She was born into a very strictly religious family that didn't accept that, she was gay. So she went to many different, pray away the gay sort of camps, and then finally accepted herself for who she was. And unfortunately started unaliving people because, Lord, I have no idea. So I could just have a channel and make fun of people on interrogations, I guess. But let's get this thing started.
I've read this many times before that you may be charged with many criminal offenses, and you don't have to say anything in answer to the charges that you face. But if you wish to do so, we're going to do that today. But whatever you do say could be used in courts. And I know we had that conversation in the car on the way back to Woodstock, and I asked you to repeat it in your own words, and you kind of gave us a few of describing it in your own vocabulary. As you said something like, it's not Vegas, what happens in the car on the way back doesn't necessarily stay in the car. Right? Yeah. So same thing in this room. Anything that you say and everything that we talked about should be used as evidence at court.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys this before, but this is in Canada, so there are a little bit differences as far as Miranda rights and things like that. So they do have to tell her that all of this is being recorded and, could be used against her in court. Now, given that she's already confessed and I think written a letter about what she did, I don't know that we need all the interrogation, but I just love Canadian interrogators. They're so nice and calm.
Okay?
Okay.
So kind of to put it easily, the same rules apply. Okay? And if you've spoken to any other police officers, I know that you've dealt with the Toronto police officers.
Yeah.
There was a couple officers in the car on our trip back here. If anyone's persuaded you or tried to push you into making a statement, whatever they said, I don't want that to influence you in any way. Okay?
Well, what I'm
I want
about
you
to say is I'm giving up my own free will.
Okay, all right, and I appreciate that. And we'll get moving forward. For another few things, and I know that we said this in the car, you are not under arrest right now.
Okay.
Okay, I want to make that very clear to you.
Okay.
Okay, you're not under arrest. The door is unlocked, okay? I'm not impeding your way to the door. If you want to leave at any time, if you want to stop talking to me at any time, you just let me know, and we'll just carry on from there.
Okay.
Okay, but you're not being held here against your will. We're not forcing you to speak to us. We just have some follow-up questions from the investigation that kind of got going while you were in Toronto.
Yeah, being interviewed is hard because it takes so long.
It does.
So I'll do my best. Like I said, if
Ma'am, where do you have to go? You confessed to unaliving 14 people. Do you have a quick spa date you want to get to? I mean, she's like, look, I get that I'm here for a crime, but this is, I play Scrabble and Sudoku. This was, so she got caught in 2016, but her spree lasted between 2007 to 2016. She did struggle with substance abuse and alcoholism. So this does also highlight some of the problems in the healthcare system, because these nurses could have that many issues with substance abuse and anything else, but because of the union work that they have up there, or the unions for like the nurses and things, she was able to go from place to place to place, basically because no one wanted to give her a bad, review and possibly get sued for wrongful termination. So these are some of the things that do happen to pop up a lot in these angels of mercy sort of cases. But I love how she's like, look, I'm busy. I've got things to do.
I have to get up and pace around a bit or whatever.
If you want to take a break at any time, you let us know. If you want to get up and pace around, I'll just kind of hang tight here and we'll just keep conversing as long as you're comfortable.
I'll go as long as I can.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That's kind of all the formalities, but like I said, those are the things that I just wanted to make sure that we're clear to you. And if you have any questions for me before we get started, the floor is yours. If there's anything or any concerns that you have.
No, I want to get through this and find out what happened to my mom and dad, because I know they're upset because we went to visit them today.
Okay.
Shipman would have gotten away with it if he hadn't tried to steal the mayor's house. He got greedy. Also, didn't he unalive himself because he couldn't deal with being in prison? Again, if you want to play God, I feel like when the consequences happen, you should have to deal with them and not, well, I mean, allegedly he's probably not having fun right now, but still.
Okay.
I
And
visited them today and they said, they're here, we're concerned, what's going on?
yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I honestly don't have those answers for you, but I can get them for you. My role in this investigation so far has been not as in-depth as some of the other officers. But my task today obviously was to travel to Toronto and meet with you with my fellow coworkers.
Yeah.
And come back here and have a conversation. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I can definitely get those answers for you, and I don't want to upset any more people that need to be, especially your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have bought blue tickets while you were there.
You know what? If I could afford them for the playoffs, I probably would have. Yeah, that was exciting last night.
They would talk about hockey. I mean, look, I love a good stereotype as much as the next gal, but you're in a Canadian confession interrogation room and you guys still talk about, the hockey game and the playoffs. I mean, I guess that would be, building rapport, but I would have been like, do what now? Do you know anything from Lord of the Rings? Or as Baker calls it, the walking simulator that's 12 hours long.
Um, so just for the record, and I know you prefer to go by Beth is what you told me,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
Can you just state your full name for me?
Elizabeth Tracy May Wettlaufer.
Tracy May?
Yep.
Okay, and just spell your last name for the record.
Wettlaufer.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm a firm believer with a last name like that, you are destined to either do great things or become, well, evil like her. I mean, would you, as a kid, can you imagine the torment that she went through with the last name Wettlaufer? Because I'm 12 and a half mentally sometimes, and I could think of a lot, but I'm a nice person-ish. I don't understand curling. I'm still trying to figure it out. I have much more of a grasp on rhythmic gymnastics than I do curling. Also, note and public service announcement. If you do watch the rhythmic gymnastics and decide that you must get a hula hoop afterwards, keep in mind, or this is maybe just for me, that you haven't ever done a back bend, and just watching rhythmic gymnastics will not give you any flexibility and or coordination. But it's fun to pretend.
And Beth, the reason why we're here today is because we've received some information back at the end of last week with regards to some information that was provided to the Toronto Police Service, which has led us into quite a bit of work, and Lisa's here today to speak to you with regards to kind of how this all started and follow up. But basically, I've watched your statement that you provided to Toronto. Okay. And we've been provided.
Wait a minute. What is DJT have to do with this? She's like, look, I talked to Trump. It's okay. Blessed be the closed captionings, because instead of Toronto, they said Trump.
This document here, does that look familiar to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And from what I can
Good
see
to
here,
know.
there's 4 pages of a handwritten document. Is that your handwriting?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And it just kind of goes through some people that you've encountered in your career from 2007 through to...
While it's understandable that Detective...
Here, since I'm sourcing this, I don't want to take other people's content.
Did grade 13, went for a year of law school, not law school, sorry, journalism school.
Okay.
And then went to Bible College, London Baptist Bible College in London.
All right. I must bring attention to this. What in the actual hell are actually on her feet? Is she barefoot? Because I have a distinct fear of bare feet in public places. And if she's just wandering around on that carpet in a police station, ugh. Well, yeah. But also, I would, with a room that small, I would not feel comfortable with her just wandering. But that's just me. Oh, okay, good. I mean, I was trying to avoid her feet, to be honest with you. I really do have a weird feet thing. Like, I don't like them. Aversion, not likes.
Graduated with a degree in counseling. It's a bachelor's degree in counseling. And then discovered that that's not wasn't really gonna get me a lot as far as work-wise and career-wise. And so I went back to Huron Park High School for a year. And I took a year of math and sciences, went on to Conestoga College, and it's in Kitchener, but they have a Stratford campus, so I went there for the 3 years.
Okay.
And then when I graduated there, I worked in a place called Geraldton.
Okay.
Which is 16 hours north of Toronto.
I was gonna say that's quite a bit north, isn't it?
3 hours north of Thunder Bay.
Yeah, that's way up there.
Yeah. Worked there, couldn't stand the isolation. Moved
Speaking of flip-flops and how my mind associates things, I have to imagine that that room smells like fear sweat. And I know this is gonna sound insane, but there is a smell, a fear, like, anxiety sweat smell, and I can only imagine that she is, her degree is not working anymore. I mean, if you would like to think of a nightmare scenario for Mo, you've got someone who's, having fear flip-flops and walking closely to me while telling me, in a soft, calm voice how they unalived 60 or 14 people. This would be a no-go for Mo. Reason number 873 that I would not be a police officer.
Moved back. Worked for an organization called Christian Horizons here in town in one of their group homes
Ooh.
till
Thanks, Zach.
2007.
Well, I needed help with my diet.
At which time my marriage fell apart in February 2007. And
Okay. So the thing with this marriage, she basically married a gentleman who was gay, and she was a lesbian after they met at a conversion camp. Her parents were very, very religious. That's why she went to the Bible college. And, her dad, I believe, went to get her one weekend and realized she had gone to a church with a female minister, and he made her come home. So that's the kind of, environment that she grew up with. And I can feel sad for that little girl who wasn't loved for who she was, but she went on to become a bit of a monster. So that's why that marriage fell apart.
I met a woman online, and she decided to move to be with me.
Okay.
So I ended up quitting the job I was at and going to Caress and Care to make a little bit more money because I was the only earner. So I started working at Caress and Care, I believe it was June 2007.
And how long did you work there for?
Until 2014. Yeah, till I think it was March 2014.
And were you always in the same role, or
As
did you do different roles at Carson Care? or-
I was a registered nurse.
Yeah.
And registered nurse's role is always the same.
Yeah.
As Wettlaufer is giving her work history, it is interesting to note that she
So what he's basically going to say, oh, thank you, Zach, for the super chat. It's the 10th and super chat budget is 73% gone. Well, I need those dad jokes. So sometimes it's been a crazy month already. We needed some dad jokes. Well, see, my mini 67, you've got goals. It's called a bucket list, allegedly in Minecraft. But I know the feeling. Sometimes I wish I could take up welding, and I have, a big old van. I'm just saying, if Mad Max becomes a thing, I am going to have to learn welding. But what he went on to commentate about is kind of what I told you in the beginning. She was able to jump from nursing home to nursing home, partially because of the union getting her kind of fired for, different reasons, but not, being inebriated and on painkillers while she was watching her clients. So it was alleged that she was stealing a bunch of the prescriptions from the clients and being incredibly intoxicated on her shifts before she started unaliving people. However, because of kind of the system between hospitals not talking to each other and not actually looking up references or not wanting to divulge maybe issues, she kept going to different, basically she could spread her victims around.
I left Meadow Park in September of 2014, and I started working for a
Wettlaufer does bring up her addiction problems, although she
We did a lot of different things, a lot of one-on-ones with people, like in their own homes. 12-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts,
Okay.
sitting with them.
Okay.
A lot of stuff I did was sitting with palliative patients.
Right. Okay. That would be tough.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I knew they were gonna die.
Yeah.
And it was just an opportunity to give the family a rest,
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
Yeah, it's an important role. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't see it that way, and
It is an odd juxtaposition because if I ever had to imagine a person that unalived a bunch of people, I wouldn't think of this woman. I mean, she seems like a woman who would go to my church, probably has at least 8 cats, but that's okay. You know, possibly watched 50 Shades of Grey in the theater with a bunch of other women with cat sweaters on. I can only imagine the heavy breathing. Anywho, I mean, I wouldn't imagine this mild-mannered woman to have done as many evil things as she did.
and
Sal was like, she
even
has 8
notice the
cats.
care that these people are getting from people like yourself, right? So we give the families a bit of a break and take that role is important, like which a lot of people don't see, right? So.
Because when someone's dying in the house,
Mhm.
families don't want everyone to be asleep at once, right? And that can be very hard if you're not able to do that.
That's right.
But if you have a nurse there who says, no, it's okay, I've got this, I know the medications they get, it's gonna be all right, then,
Everyone kind of rest easy.
yeah.
Back at Meadow Park, what was your addiction?
Hydromark.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hydromark.
So not Hydumas, but hydromorphine. So yeah, she was stealing from the patients and then getting. There are so many reports of her being unable to assist the kind of LPNs and the CNAs because she was so drunk on shift. It's nuts.
Okay. And how much were you using? And
When asked directly, Wettlaufer is
did that go totally undetected for the time you were there?
There was a time when, Hydromark was delivered to the home, and it didn't get put away right away by the person it should have. And so I took the Hydromark and put it in my bag and took it home, and it wasn't.
See, so it was entrapment then, Elizabeth, right? Like they didn't put look, they knew I would take this and they left it out of lock and key. Really, it's never been my fault. Sarah Boone, unintentionally. God dang it. Ma'am, you have an addiction. You should have said, I saw an opportunity and I stole a whole entire bottle. I mean, I know the Canadian health system is different, but I would think that an entire bottle of hydromorphine going missing would probably, I don't know, instigate a search of some kind. Maybe pointing fingers.
Wasn't discovered for months.
Okay.
And, so I just played dumb. When the police told me about it, I played dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. So as a binge user, then, like, how much would you be using on I mean, obviously, you wouldn't use it on a daily basis if you were binge using, but like, how long did the addiction last for?
Oh, the addiction lasted from, I think it started in 2008.
Okay.
So to 2014, at which time I went away and got
Yes.
treatment at a treatment center.
Okay.
But then, I started using again, probably January 2016, I started using again.
The sad thing is now she probably would, with MAID being a big thing in Canada. So she probably would get a bonus for getting people who are terminally ill or in a nursing home with a lot of complex, expensive medical problems. Sadly, she'd probably get an award now. And she does, I feel bad, but she looks exactly like Grimace. I'm glad she's not wearing purple, because if she was wearing purple, I'd just be going, her, I want some French fries. I am going straight to hell.
Okay. And are you still using them when you get your hands on them, or?
No. I'm going to stopped using alcohol as well. I have friends in AA.
Holy flizzolis. Are we having a Sarah Boone flashback? Look, I will never drink again. I'm gonna blame the booze on the 14, okay? I blame it on the Merlot. They left the bottle out in the alcohol store. I had no control. Man,
And
you're going to
I've got a very
jail.
clear plan. If I'm able to be out and about, I have a very clear plan. And I also know if I'm not able to be out and about, that AA and Narcotics Anonymous do have some.
Dear God, closed captioning. Euthanasias or vote, but AAA in their products, a lot of students have closed captions. This is amazing. It's almost like they knew we were talking about MAID. It's amazing.
Programs where they come into prison.
Absolutely.
It's hard to believe that Wettlaufer
Yeah. So I will say that she's a very naive woman if she thinks that she's going to just maybe go on parole. She's like, look, I'm gonna go to rehab, you guys, and then we'll do a mulligan, all right? I mean, the amount of absolute kind of naivete and not really being on with the plot is shocking.
Any nurse will tell you it's a hard
I
job.
believe it 100%.
And then they would add different things like, oh, you have to do this and that to say who's here and counting the medications at the end of the shift. And it was a hard job.
And
I always was putting this pressure on myself to be a really good nurse and to do everything perfectly. And every once in a while, when I could get a hold of a hydromorph or two and take it, then that pressure was gone.
Right.
But
And,
She seems like some of the nurses I've had, but I mean, no. Look, you can be a good nurse, you can have pressure, but I don't like the excuses that I will say I have a love I have a hard time accepting people who say a substance abuse problem is, a disease, but then continue to coddle it versus, yeah, if I get diabetes and have a Snickers bar, that's something completely different. I think they're both the same. You both battle, cravings and things like that, maybe not to the same extent, but there are things you can do to change it. It's not like a, excuse to get out of jail free card that some people like to use. And I've known plenty of people that have fought their addictions and won, and they're the ones that never gave themselves an out.
the treatment
Possibly.
center that you went away to, where was that?
I cannot remember. I tried to remember.
Yeah.
Was
it local or?
No, it was out of town. It was like a good 2-hour drive.
Okay.
You know where the locks are?
Yeah.
Near Niagara.
Welland.
Welland?
Yeah.
It's a little town outside of Welland.
Okay.
And they have it's an 18-day treatment that they have, and I was successful. I went through the whole thing.
Nice. So all 18 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And it helped?
Okay.
Yes.
So no, you were there. He is going to pop in. He is had some meetings, so he is trying to get those things around, but he's like, no, I'll be able to pop in, but I don't know. I didn't ask what his activities were going to be. I just said, okay, pop in when you can.
Yeah.
What about family? You're born and raised in Woodstock?
Yeah, born and raised in Woodstock, married from 97 to 2007.
Okay.
We broke up, February 2007. No children. I wanted them, he never did. My mom and dad are in their 70s.
I don't remember. I don't think there are pictures from that time period. I don't know. But like I said, I'm glad she's not wearing purple. Although she does remind me of the Kool-Aid guy, and again, going straight to hell. Me. Okay, can you guys see me now? Hopefully. Rural internet is the devil. It truly is. Hopefully this is working. No, it was not your phone going peanuts. It was my internet connection. If it's windy.
Once. They've been here a few times.
Nice.
They came in 2013 for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
Nice.
And my
Thank you,
nephew and his wife
thank you,
stayed
everyone.
behind
I was like, good
and
Lord,
lived with my
why does
parents
this
for a few
always
months
happen?
while my nephew tried to go to Bible college.
Okay.
But he wasn't successful, so they went back.
Thank you, Wolfram.
So your brother older or younger than you?
Older.
Older.
He's 3 years older than me. He's 52.
Right on. Very good.
Although Wettlaufer
Okay. So it is interesting how long they spend just kind of getting her comfortable doing kind of the, building rapport thing. It is very interesting to see how very laid back. I mean, she's getting to keep her purse and all of those things. And they probably have the right detective doing this because, he's very personable, whereas I would be irritated. I would not want to do the whole getting to know you thing. I would just like to hear what you did to the people. So they probably it's Wettlaufer, JKD Buck. So my guess is that she had a terrible middle school, just a terrible middle school experience.
St. Elizabeth. And I was doing well, but it was a lot of pressure. And the way that, that I've helped people to die has been through insulin. And after my first...
Did she just say the way I helped people die, I was having fun? Well, dang it. Oh my goodness. It Look, I was just proud of myself. I made a new intro today. I have no idea internet stuff. I need to figure out how to diagnose when you can make the internet faster. But to this point, I'm just like, oh, my computer lights up. Slowly but surely. In 5 years, I will be a hacker.
My 30-day evaluation, my supervisor came to me and said, I'm really sorry. We wanted you for Woodstock, but we have so many kids in schools in Ingersoll that need help with their insulin pumps that you're going to start working in Ingersoll.
Okay.
And I panicked. I didn't want to do that. because I felt, you know, what if? It was a kid. So it was about a week after that I quit. Yeah, and then
That does give me pause. I mean, she probably had an inkling that she was wanting to do bad things to patients. Now, her morals seem to have at least extended to not hurting children, but it does seem like some of the patients that she unalived were more of the cantankerous older patients that she didn't get along with. So I don't know how much of her, you know, angel of mercy was mercy or I just don't want to deal with you, which has been alleged.
I packed my stuff in the car and I drove 2 days I drove into Quebec thinking like I would just sort of run away sort of thing.
I drove a Nickelback. Well, Nickelback has driven many of us to drive away, usually while changing the channel.
Quebec thinking like I would just sort of run away sort of thing. And then I thought, no, that's just stupid. So I came back and I was going to tell my parents what was going on, but they had visitors from
Good
Scotland.
thought. I'll have to ask Mr.
So I didn't tell them. I just, spent 2 weeks pretending to go to work
Okay,
while the visitors from
right,
Scotland were here.
Right.
It's funny, but it's not funny. And then,
This woman would gladly put eye drops in your drink, watch you pass away, and then giggle. That was the creepiest thing I've ever. She's like, you know, I just pretended to go to work. And then I was going to run away and join the circus. I was going to be the new rope climber. Yeah, I do wish that, you know, UK courts were much more free with their information because the Lucy Letby case, the Eric and Rose, or Fred and Joe and Rose West would be something because I think that that investigation was just foobar. I mean, how can one couple have so many people go missing around them and everyone's like, no idea. Also, Rose West was pregnant like 9 times. Again, I have seen that woman's picture. She has the feminine grace of a young Janet Reno and the 84 starting line of the Bears.
once they left, I decided I didn't want to nurse anymore. I didn't want to hurt anybody anymore. So I also quit my other job. And then I decided, well, whatever Friday that was, that like I did a lot of looking into how I could get help because I realized I needed help with whatever this was.
right.
Because part of me had started to believe that it was the devil, and part of me thought it might be God with a purpose through my life. And Dr. Ashley looked at me and didn't answer me.
So you were having thoughts of wanting to unalive patients, and you're like, well, it could be the good guy, or it could be Satan. Ma'am, I'm going to give you a hint. Maybe it's Satan. I mean, God's kind of big on that thou shalt not kill thing, at least from what I've heard, New Testament wise. But, you know, perhaps, possibly not Santa or Jesus is telling you to unalive people.
Shame.
These are both very common delusions.
And he's not a very nice man. So I went on an online support group and was talking to people on there, and they were saying, you know,
Oh my
get some
goodness.
help. So then I started researching some psych boards and stuff, and I saw CAMH, and they are the only mental health facility in Ontario that has an emergency department.
Okay.
So I made a decision, and I went there one Friday morning. I took the train, and off I went. And before I went, I told told 3 people what was going on. My friend.
It is odd that she vaguely recognizes there's a problem, but this also seems like such attention-seeking behavior. To run off, it's like she's vague booking in real life. Like, look, I'm gonna be gone for a while. I have to sort things out. And then she'll tell 3 people, and then she runs away and doesn't say anything to the rest of the extended people in her life. So they're all worried about her. It's just such an a-hole thing to do, in my opinion. But I also really don't like her because she's wearing flip-flops and she unalived people. So, ooh, elephant ears are good. I make those at home sometimes. Not as much as my family would like me to, but they are good.
I'm from AA, and, my, friend, I told them what was going on, they said, yes, go and get help. And my friend drove me to the train station.
And when you say you told them what was going on, did you get into
I
details of why you were
told
going
them
to
that-
seek help, or?
I told them that I had been killing people using an insulin drug.
Imagine you go over to a friend's house and you think, okay, I'm just taking them to rehab, and they drop on you, well, look, there's a couple other things that I need to tell you. Yeah, I've been unaliving people because I'm stressed. Do you think that's a bad thing? Do they have a rehab for that? Asking for a friend, it is Canada. I mean, to drop something like that on another person that just thinks that they're helping a friend. And I bet she just dropped it in this sort of voice too. Just like, "Well, okay, I need you to feed Mimsy, Snufflepuff, and, Lucifer, and, Mabel gets a pill twice a day. By the way, after you're done taking care of the cats, the cops might be talking to you because I kinda confessed to unaliving 14 people. See ya."
And they all said, yes, you better go get help. So off I went.
Okay. And
Good job.
She's friends from, when I used to work at,
okay. All right. Your last name? Okay. And she drove you to the train station on Friday morning to the Woodstock train
Okay.
station?
Yep.
Also,
And then your other friend?
El Friendo, y you just realize, or your friend just told you, "Hey, I've unalived, like, a good, baker's dozen of people." I would say, "Hey, friendo, you just made me an accessory after the fact. I'm driving you to the police station." 'Cause, yeah, I'm not going to Canadian prison for you, Elizabeth. I would be not a great friend to her. I could just see she'd be like, "But I thought you were gonna take care of my cats." I was like, "Yes, I'll take care of your cats. I'm not going to jail for being accessory after the fact. Come with me to prison land."
Friend.
Is my cousin.
Okay. And she's a cousin of yours?
True.
Yeah, she
You are
lives in
stuck with
BC.
Justin Trudeau right now.
Okay. And if you don't want to tell me, that's fine, based on the reason why this person may not be a friend, but your AA friend.
My friend, yeah.
Okay.
She's there. I can tell you her first name, but
Okay.
otherwise it's confidentiality.
And I don't want to dig into that, at this point. That's not a problem at all. So did you disclose the same thing to all those 3 people?
That I had been giving insulin overdose, but I didn't say why, because at that point I felt so stupid. I just felt so stupid.
And
Or sad? I mean, stupid is an odd word. Oh, elephant ears. So they're like a sweet bread dough you flatten out into kind of an irregular, long, flat, kind of almost flatbread shape. Then you fry them, and when you take them out of the oil, you cover them in sugar and cinnamon or powdered sugar. I like the powdered sugar, to be honest. I'm not a big cinnamon fan unless it's Halloween. But That's what elephant ears are. So fried dough, nothing good for you.
And Beth, to be honest with you, I admire the way that you're conducting yourself and telling us and having this conversation with me. I thank you for that. And I'm not here to judge in any way.
I know.
So I want you to know that. And I'm not a doctor.
Sir, could you be any more freaking Canadian? Like, look, I'm not here to judge you about what you did. I still think you're a nice guy, pal. All I'm picturing is how the Canadians talk in South Park. Like, I'm not your buddy, pal. Terrence. I mean, how much more Canadian? Like, look, sweetie, I know that you unalived 14 people, but that doesn't make you a bad person. American here with a little bit of sass. I'm gonna go with yes. Yes, that does.
Doctor, I know you spent a lot of time at KMH the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm far from a doctor, but I do appreciate you telling me the truth and telling me the way that these things happen and played out.
Yeah.
And I admire you for that.
And it's, it's been a while because I've been stewing about, like, do I
Yeah,
give the
they're kind
names
of like
of
a
the people
cousin.
Right.
that I killed?
Right.
Because then here's 8 families that thought that their family member died peacefully and normally, and they didn't. And what's that going to do to those families?
Right.
And even up to going to the hospital, I decided I was just going to give the first names. And my cousin said, listen, they know what years you worked there. If you don't tell them the exact names, they're going to go in there and go over every single file. And that's going to be even worse for the families there.
Right.
So that she was the one to give me that advice, to give the names.
How absolutely morally dense could you be? Like, look, I'm going to make it kind of like a Sudoku puzzle. It'll be like Wordle. They'll just have to, go through all the, Cletuses and Carls and figure out which one I took out. I Stevie Wonder could have connected the dots that is a terrible thing to do. Ray Charles in the background with neon lights, for the love of all that is holy. This woman isn't on this planet.
She shows an amazing grasp of the
I love that the commentator is just basically saying everything. Like, the hell is wrong with you? Only he's nice and all professional.
Thursday?
I told them the night before I went.
Okay, so Thursday night?
Yeah.
And these are off Friday morning?
Yeah.
It was risky for her.
When we left the hospital, you had taken, I believe, some Ativan, is that right?
I took 2 milligrams of Ativan when we left the hospital.
Right.
Which was, you guys noted the time, 1:30 or something like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I've had nothing since.
Okay. And I know that the Dr. Khan provided with a prescription and.
Yeah, and he also gave me 2 loxapines.
Yeah.
And was very strict. I am not to take them until all the interviews are over. Because
Welcome, Veilhammer.
Hey. My little expedition took a little longer than I thought.
That's okay.
It's all good, though.
Yeah, no. Can this interrogation get any more Canadian? They're just like, yeah, I was having a great weekend. I was going off to rehab, kind of told my friends while I was going away, hey, I unalived 14 people,
Yeah.
And this cop's like, I appreciate your honesty. I'm like, are y'all going to hug?
Yeah, this lady's pretty special.
Yeah, it's so weird because the way she's presenting isn't like someone that really thought things out. But if you look at who she targeted and how she did it, it was very well planned. That she picked people that probably weren't going to get tested or did already use insulin. So it's really, and it's like listening to your grandma explain to you how she used to run a mafia. It's just like, Grandma, I don't How?
Yeah, it's the coldness that she speaks with is what is surprising to me, honestly. Like,
That's yeah. Well, I was telling the chat, I would be much more uncomfortable listening to her in a small room than I would, say, even Sarah Boone or something, because she just is so cold, matter of fact. It's like she went to grocery store
mhm.
and, did this. And I'm like, oh, no, you are scary and we do not talk to you.
Exactly. And like, there's not even a good old Canadian story in there.
Yeah, she's just like, well, I was just going to tell the first names of the people I unalived. But, then my cousin said, oh, by the way, maybe you should just tell them the real names so they don't have to dig through all of the patients.
Yeah.
And she's like, that would probably be better for the family.
You'd think, right? But yeah, this lady's special, and we haven't even gotten to the, dare I say, the juicy part.
Yeah. Well, I already made a comment that she probably smells like fear sweat and her degree has worn off.
That is for sure, because it gets kind of funny in a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Because they will start to interfere with my thinking, and then that seems to be the other.
Exactly. And you feel that you have a clear, sound mind right now?
Yes, I do.
Conversing with me in this room?
Yeah.
Okay. And everything that you're telling me is the truth and the best that you can remember?
Yes. Yes.
I can appreciate where you're coming from as far as the work that you went through. Obviously, I've never been a nurse, and I've never worked in the profession that you did, but I can imagine how overwhelming it is.
Yes.
Having a lot of responsibility.
No one is forcing you to be a nurse, as far as I know, in Canada yet.
Yeah, it's
If
that whole like trying to like be sympathetic, but it also at the same time sounds really lame.
Well, yeah, that's why good Lord, I could not do this. I'd be like, okay, my name is Mo, and can you tell me about the people you unalived? Like, I don't want to hear about your backstory.
Yeah.
You creep me out. You're gonna, hotbox me with your, green gases. I would like to get out of here, please. Also,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're not wearing a bra. This is all terrifying to me.
Yes. And this hotboxing that goes on is why there is global warming.
AOC
It's
just
not
has a poster with
it's not
her
the
face on
Californians, it's this lady.
it. The walls were white when we started this interrogation.
Yes. There's a little splatter on them now.
Oh,
Maybe not having the support of the administration or your supervisors, just kind of go out and get it done, right?
Yeah.
And that could be, I could see how that would be stressful, and I could see how that would drive you maybe into your addiction and into other things. But I want to just go over this document, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay, would you be willing to do that with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and you do your thing.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Absolutely not.
This is pretty.
don't lift up your shirt. No.
I've only ever had parking tickets. I've never been arrested for anything.
Well, like I said, you're not under arrest
Oh, I
right
know.
now, but it is a very significant investigation, you're right.
I understand.
And like I said before, Beth, I do appreciate you speaking with us. And
Look, I'm trying to figure out what level of hell I want to go to, but this weebles wobbles, but we don't fall down.
Not yet.
And I feel bad as a person that has a limp because I know I walk funny, but she's also a dumpster fire human. Can I make fun of her now?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's zero sympathy on this one. It's like that whole
Yeah.
medical oath that you're supposed to take of do no harm. I think she far exceeded that.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying though earlier, right now, if she did the same in Canadian healthcare, she'd probably get a medal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
She was
there's
just ahead of her time.
yeah, like she's following in the footsteps of Kevorkian, even though he
True.
was U.S. But hey, still.
Well, yeah. I remember when that was a running joke in my middle school.
Oh God, yeah. I think that was going on when like middle school-ish is when that all was going down with Kevorkian.
Yeah.
I can imagine that, does it feel like a weight off your shoulders?
Yes.
So you've been carrying a burden for quite some time.
That is a slow pitch, and I'm not going to body shame, but I have thoughts.
Yes, and they're definitely not E.
The weight was not lifted from her fork.
I have to admire though the dedication to walking across the room and thumbing the wall.
Yeah, I just oh.
And I've tried to get help.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it takes a few attempts to finally commit to it, right?
Yeah, I had a pastor that I told me, he prayed over me and told me I'd be fine. And that was God's grace. And then
Survey says that pastor was wrong. Why didn't he throw holy water on her? She might have melted.
Yeah.
I mean, and I believe in the power of faith, but I'm guessing an addiction to unaliving people might need more than, a pastor laying hands on you.
Yeah. It's at this juncture, like there may be like an exorcism or 2 or 3 or 16.
Yeah. Also, pastor, you heard about this, and I understand that you are not obligated to, give up your parishioners' secrets. But I think 14 unalivings might be something that, you would feel a bit conflicted about with that whole, thou shalt not kill kind of thing going on.
Yeah. It's one of those big 10 ones.
Well, yeah, you think. But, George Carlin got it down to think 3, so it's still in the top 3.
Yeah.
When was that?
that was Halloween 2013.
Wait, no wonder the blessing didn't work. You went to get a blessing on Halloween on 2013? Ma'am, I think we figured out the issue.
Yeah, exactly. Again, exorcism
Pretty much.
is what we're going with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you kind of divulged to what had happened to you to that point in your life with
Yeah.
involving these people?
Yeah.
Sorry for the repetitive pauses, but I just realized the demons left her body. We didn't need an exorcism.
Well, I don't think they've left quite yet. We're getting there though.
Well, eventually they will.
And where was that?
That was here in town. Do you want his name?
If you want to tell me, it's up to you.
She is throwing El Pastor under the bus.
Yeah.
Like he knew for 3 years.
Oh, no. Sorry, it wasn't. Did I just say 2014?
Mm-hmm.
It was 2013. Okay. All right.
So before we get into this, I know that there's a statement which we have and that I've watched where you attended the police station in Toronto at 52 Division. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
I honestly, I think it was Detective Hamilton, and I honestly can't remember the other detective's name now. I know it started with an A. And you met with them for, I was going to say about an hour and a half.
That was nuts.
And at that point, you had
What else do you have to do?
a photocopy of this document, right? And you went through and you read it out.
Yeah.
Again, she's like she has an appointment somewhere. Like, it was a long meeting. It could have been an email. In fact, I tried to just send them a letter. God, dang it. This woman. It is like she's a traveler from another universe and she's just watched television, so she vaguely understands how to act human, but none
Yeah.
of the feelings and emotional connections, the normal kind of ABC thing. She's just like AQX.
Yeah. There's a few things that she seems to be missing. Like a few things that, not firing quite right.
Yeah, like she thinks she's going back to rehab after this, but she'll give up drinking if she has to go.
Oh, she's going to a special kind of rehab.
Yeah.
It involves bars,
Yeah.
but not the kind you drink at.
Yeah.
Okay, and then following that, they started, with the
True.
first name on the list, and they wanted to just try and get a little bit more detail of,
Yes,
of the involvement in each circumstance, in
Okay.
each death, right?
okay.
That's what I'd like to do today, and just get some more detail,
Okay,
okay? So,
it's a long list.
it is, but I think that you and I think we can get through it together.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. As long as you're patient with me.
I've got all the time in the world. I'm not going anywhere.
Because I'm physically comfortable. It's a nice chair, but
Yeah. But anytime you need to get up and wander around, like I said, if you want to take a break and have me leave and just kind of stretch your legs and whatever the case may be, go ahead.
okay.
Okay, if you have to use the washroom anytime, just let me know.
All right,
Okay? Because like I said, I'm here as long as we need to be.
okay.
Okay? And I'm not pressuring you.
Again, what is that? Okay, we need Detective Dirty Harriet now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
This
say
is
what you did.
this is 2 hours longer than it needed to be because he's like, "Look, now I'm not I think you're a good person, and, you've dealt with a lot."
Yeah.
Mo would just come in and be like, "Here's the files. Let's go through this. I would like to get home before, The Simpsons come on."
Exactly. Well, and it's like, I think the last thing that you need to be apologizing for is like the ripping ass that's going to take place. It's like, you did unalive a bunch of people. Maybe you should start there.
Did they get her White Castles before this? I mean, I am
Unless
trying to figure out what caused this later bit because
that or Taco Bell, one of the two.
yeah, unless maybe they got really cruddy poutine or poutine.
Because what was it?
The
Stephanie's guts may have been a bubbling, but hers
Yes.
speak.
Hers growl.
To stay any longer than you want to. But I think if we just kind of sit down and go through this, like I said, we'll get through it together.
Yes,
I'm a pretty patient person, and I'm here to just listen to what you have to tell me, okay?
okay.
Okay, and like I said, I appreciate it. Okay?
Nunya, this is Elizabeth Wettlaufer. She was a nurse in Canada who unalived 14 patients in elderly homes with insulin overdoses.
Wait, did you say her? I didn't even know this. I knew her first name, but I didn't know her last name was Wetlocker.
Wettlaufer. I mean,
Wettlaufer.
she may have had a terrible, terrible middle school, which may have given her a lot of rage. Because with that last name, I mean,
Yeah. Well, something's wet in this interrogation.
ugh,
And it's not what he would be proud of.
yeah, ugh. I feel kind of bad for. So she was caught in 2016 because she basically confessed to everyone as she was going to rehab because in addition to unaliving patients, she was stealing their morphine and getting, well, plastered basically. And she decided, between the rehab for unaliving people and the rehab for the morphine, she was willing to work on the morphine thing. So as she's going to rehab, she is telling all of her, AA friends and her pastor that she, unalived 14 people, but, hey, take me to rehab. And they
Yeah.
did. I I still can't figure that one out. Like,
Yes. Maybe the priest should have started, with the police instead of the hospital.
Well, because my behind watches so much true crime, I would have been like, "Oh no, friendo, you have just made me an accessory after the fact. We are going right to the police station.
Yeah.
I am not ending up in Canadian jail. I don't know what wigs that Trudeau is going to have me wear, but I'm sure they'll be offensive."
Yeah. I mean, but you'll probably get lots of maple syrup and Canadian bacon, to be fair.
True, but everyone would be so nice. It would
Well,
confuse my American sensibilities and sarcasm. I'd come back being too nice. They'd be like, how about ya? I'm
but
sorry.
but in prison, that might be a good thing.
Oh my
Everybody was
God, I'd
nice.
rule the prison. Like, don't mess with her.
and
She's
Canadian
American.
prison. Yeah.
So, how about we just do this together? I'll just bring this over here. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm not gonna have you read through this entire document because you already did that, right?
I have written it, I have read it, I have, lived it, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Okay,
Mr.
Madonna.
Silcox,
Detective Hergot
it says here you were working a double shift from 3 till 7, right?
3 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right. Okay. And this was at Crescent Care,
Yes,
okay, in Woodstock.
yes.
Probably.
Okay. And tell me about your knowledge of James and your daily interactions during a shift with him.
I didn't see him every time. He wasn't always
Oh my
my
gosh.
patient. I just knew from what people had said that he would grab the nurse's breasts and buttocks, and he would say horribly inappropriate things about his wife.
He should have used UPS.
And what old dudes who are in hospice care don't probably say terrible things?
Well, okay, and also, was she upset that he didn't do that with her?
Probably.
Because I'm sensing more jealousy than,
Yeah.
he was probably like, bring back the other nurse.
Yeah.
They don't want you.
Bring back the ones without the saggy boobs.
Bring back the one that wears deodorant and not flip-flops.
and won't use chemical warfare.
Pretty much. He's like, bring back the attractive one.
Yeah.
I can just imagine. And it's sad because the way she talks about him, you'd think he's Cotton Hill, but as if you've researched this case, he was, a bit full of spit and vinegar, but he was pretty kind when he wasn't, maybe a little bit sundowny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to some degree, when you interact with older people, it's a different generation. They do different things differently, right? Like, I
Yeah.
understand that sometimes maybe it's offensive or whatever to certain people, but it's like, at that juncture in life, I don't think that he really cared.
Yeah, I mean, at 80, I don't think he's gonna, listen to your algebra of your uniqueness. I think he's gonna be like, can you just give me what I'm asking for and let me die in peace without this crap?
Yeah. I mean, just because he asks to go to Hooters every day doesn't mean like you have to give the guy too much insulin.
Yes.
Give the man what he wants.
Well, Nunya, I did make the joke that she would have been given a Canadian Service Medal had she done this now.
Yeah. And been
But
the Canadian
Employee of the
spirit
month.
Yeah, the Spirit of Trudeau medal.
Oh my gosh. Can't he go back to the island nation his father just, abdicated through death? I'm just saying. Not that, those with glass presidents should throw things, but
Yeah.
Wife that now he was there, he was gonna fuck all of us, she was gonna fuck all of us stock, and just would say different things, and he did touch me inappropriately once.
And where was that?
On my
body?
breast.
X to doubt.
Yeah.
Not to mention, those would never mind. I'm not
Was he
going to go there.
Okay.
Was he
And
blind?
were you alone in the room at that point?
Yeah.
He thought it
Did
was
he have
her
a roommate
arm.
at all?
And
Did Jim have a roommate?
He must have. He wasn't in a single room. So he was either in a double room or a quadruple room.
Okay. Would you remember any other residents that would be living with him at that time?
No.
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 That's okay. What portion of the home was James in at this point?
He was in the, okay, there's an east wing, south wing, north wing. He was in the north wing, was
Naruto.
halfway down, and he was either in a double bed.
that's why he was so upset. He's more of a Dragon Ball Z guy. He was like, screw Naruto. Gonna
Say,
go
was
play
he
Pokemon.
was he doing like the cool run or something?
I closed captions. Good lord. Because it had something about euthanasia in there, like right after I made that joke, and I was like, God bless the closed captions.
Or a quadruple bed.
Alright. And, the diagnosis of his health at the time you were caring for him, you remember?
He was post-hip surgery and he had dementia.
And you remember how old he was approximately?
No, I don't. I'm going to say 80s.
In his 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
While Silcox wasn't diabetic,
And I mean, it's an absolute horror. I mean, you send your, loved one who has maybe a hip issue to a place where you think he's going to be safe. And this chick's like, well, he allegedly touched me inappropriately and he's annoying.
Yeah. So I decided to take things into my own hands. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, the amount of trust that we put in our healthcare workers and then the hospital system that's designed to protect against, disgruntled employees going back and trying to legally get, rehired means that these people can just jump from hospital to hospital. And my guess is 14 is not her actual number.
Yeah.
These are the ones she knew she would get caught for.
I mean, that does kind of sound like another profession where people bounce from office to office because they've done some unscrupulous things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole healthcare aspect of it, I think or healthcare provider, I should say, is what makes this worse. Like, I know as a patient once, like I have a weird sensitivity because I'm a guitar player, like in my fingers, like my fingertips specifically.
Oh yeah.
And I had like, I literally had bled half to death. So they were having a very hard time finding an IV, like getting an IV in me. And they're like, well, if we can't get this, we're going to prick your finger. I'm like, it's like, if you prick my finger, I'm going to kick you. And
you're like, I will leave this hospital.
I warned them. They decided to prick my finger and I kicked the shit out of this guy. I gave him fair warning though.
Vale Harrison is like, and that's how I spent 72 hours on a psych hold.
I apologized afterwards, but I told him I warned you.
Yeah, I think the only time I have ever fully Karen'd out on a nurse, and I felt so bad afterwards, but I always get stuck with the student nurses that don't quite know how dilated you are. And I was like, look, I am going to have this child. Go get someone now.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't think you, and I was like, this is my fourth kid. I'm telling you, this is happening. And she's like, no, ma'am, let me check. And she's like, oh my God, there's a head. Don't move. I was like,
that would be my reaction.
well, I mean, true. There's a reason I never took up, nursing myself. Look, it's like when they offer, hey, do you want a mirror to see the miracle of birth? I'm like, no, I had to watch that one creepy, video we all did in high school with the woman who, well, was just free and natural and untamed. And that's good. That's all I need to see of birth. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm good, thanks. But yeah, that would be my reaction too. Oh my God, they're dead.
And my husband just looked at me and he's like, you tell them every time. You tell them every time you go quickly and when you say you're ready, just believe you. And no one does.
Yeah, right.
No, that was the sixth kid. The sixth kid was like, kapow. Well, it wasn't funny because he actually was born so quickly that he wasn't breathing correctly. So I'm over here, trying to get up on legs that don't feel anything because they're working on my baby and no one's telling me anything. And they're rushing him to the NICU. And I'm like, and my doctor's just like, he'll be fine. Da da da. Let's get this all taken care. I was like, I don't let me. Maybe I
Jesus.
Karened out a couple times, but I will say I was under duress.
I was gonna say, I think you get a pass, Mo. Like I think any woman who is in labor, I think they get a little bit of a pass to carry it out. I think you guys get a pass on that one.
Thanks. I did feel bad yelling at the student nurse, but
Well, they deserve
I did.
it.
I did apologize. I was like, look, I'm sorry. I should have but I was a little bit worried that no one would be here to catch the kid. Okay. Kind of paying $30,000 for someone specifically to be here to catch a child.
Yeah. Well, the student had definitely deserved it because Jesus here. So like I had an issue with my gallbladder. Okay. And so and everybody knew that it was my gallbladder. Everyone knew. So this blonde student nurse walks in and she's like, hi. She's like, I'm the student nurse, whatever, doing my thing here. And she's like, and I wanted to know if I could do a colonoscopy on you or whatever. And I looked at this lady and I'm like, you're looking at the wrong end, honey.
In what scenario does anyone say a free colonoscopy? Well, I mean, I wasn't going to treat myself this hospital round, but a student nurse as well.
I was like 19 or something too. Like it's not like I was due for one.
Yeah, no, I'd have been like, why?
Yeah, I was like, I'll
I
pass.
think I would have looked at her and said, has anyone ever said yes?
It's like, yeah.
And are they on a list? Because I'm pretty sure that
yeah,
that's not.
It's like, I think we've established what your kink is. It's like, we're good, thanks, but I'll pass.
She's still a student now, just wandering the halls, trying to find someone to give a colonoscopy to.
Basically.
You better send your mother flowers today, now, or whatever she enjoys, or a fifth of gin. I mean, something.
I got you beat. My mom's not 5'1". I was 9 pounds 11 ounces, and I was a month late.
Okay, you need to send your mom at least 2/5 of Jack Daniel and some Virginia Slims. Jeebies.
Yes.
I had a 10-pounder, and his head just, oh my God, a giant Bobby Hill pumpkin head.
Yeah.
And there's a point in labor in which they tell you to stop pushing, just, and I was like, I won't be doing that. I felt so bad. He was my only winter baby, and I'd gotten all these little coats and hats, and had to put his going home hat on top of the bassinet because his head was, I could not get it down his head.
It's like I was expecting a melon, not a watermelon.
My mom had to run out and get 3 to 6 month clothes because he was too
Jesus.
he looked like a little sausage. A weird one.
Yeah, we have completely went off the rails, but
We've
at
lost.
It's happier topics though than what this lady's talking about in the
Yeah,
interrogation.
she's just over here talking like she went to I went to the mall today and I unalived someone. It's just the matter of fact, kind coffee chat kind of tone in her voice. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's just it's devoid of like anything that is remotely human.
Back here,
But there's some other,
people who didn't die.
right, so I can't read that first name.
Clotilde,
Oh,
yeah.
that was
Okay,
me.
so that was, I mean, they're both September
Oh, Jesus.
2007, but that was
Yeah.
before James?
Yeah.
Okay. So was this your first attempt at overdosing these people on insulin?
Yes, Clotilde was.
Just Clotilde.
And I didn't really want her to die. I don't know, I was just angry and, had this sense inside me that she might be a person that God wanted back with him.
And is that feeling you're referring to that you had in your stomach?
Oh, okay. Again, ma'am, God generally is against that whole killing thing post Old Testament. So probably not God.
Yeah. And what makes you the arbiter of God? Like
Yeah,
what
it does
makes you
seem
think
like
that you're the archangel that he sent to do this work?
it's the same issue I have with Joel Osteen. If God intended you to be his mouthpiece, he wouldn't have let you keep that curly mullet. I don't trust, I just don't think that God would make you his spokesperson with that haircut.
Yeah, but he'll let you have, a multi-million-dollar house and like 10 Ferraris and a
Look, it's
Rolls
all
and
for
everything else.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the point, and I hate to get off topic here, but the point where you had these feelings in your stomach and almost that laughter after it happened,
Yeah.
is that the part that you didn't tell Dr. Khan?
Yeah.
Nothing makes me giddier than unaliving 4 patients, and it was a chuckle fest.
Yeah, that part's disturbing. That it's like she thought it was funny. And it's like,
Yeah, she's like,
why? Because Jesus wanted him back or whatever it is that she said. It's like, ooh. It's like, okay, Pillsbury.
oh, yeah, just what in the actual. And
Yeah.
look, I giggle when I'm nervous, but no, this is. Oh, for the love of God.
But that's a different kind of a giggle though than what
Well, yeah, it's
she
not like
just described as a belly laugh. That's different.
yeah, again, just this man did not touch your boobs, but I do absolutely not doubt that she giggled after she did this.
Exactly.
Oh no. I'm
What?
surprised
And
that
then
person is still alive.
I have to read that again. My 3 home births.
Home births.
And the midwife punched me for asking why there was so much moaning as I Okay. I was like, I had to read it a couple times. I was like, what? I finally got it. I'm a little slow today.
Look, I think Joel Osteen is a creep, bro. He has that weird Ken doll look that one guy on Court TV or Law and Crime has.
Mm-hmm. Well,
He might be a lizard person.
It's him. It's Joyce Meyer. It's all these people. They call it the prosperity gospel. It's like if you give more money to Jesus, he's going to give you more money in return. It's like, where does that say that? Like, I understand the whole you reap what you sow and you can get back tenfold and la da 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 da. I get that, but where does it say that about like giving more money to the preacher? Where does it say that?
Well, I'm sure it's in, Luxurious chapters 4 through 12.
Yeah. Well, yeah, basically.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that.
I told him about the laughter in my stomach, but not the feeling that this may be the person that God wants.
Okay.
Because I just sounded so stupid.
It's your feelings, right?
Mm-hmm. I honestly felt like God wanted to use me. And Dr. Khan kept asking me, do you think God chose me for a special purpose?
Ma'am, you and Daryl Brooks were never chosen by God to be the instrument of life and death.
The brakes fail.
I don't know why that just gave me the flash to Daryl Brooks, like, and we'll never know why God chose to let this happen.
Yeah, like that's that was the weirdest closing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
like, no, Jesus did not take the wheel and step on the gas, sir.
no, that wasn't Jesus. No.
Again, for Daryl Brooks in the back of the class, that'd be the other guy.
Yeah.
I kept saying no, because that did not sound like a special purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just had a sense after my marriage broke up that God was going to use me for something. And then after a while, I started to really wonder after some of the...
You know, you were actually, had you been a good nurse, then that would be what God was using you for. You chose to be a dumpster fire nurse.
Yeah. I was that for some reason that got me thinking about something. I'm going to look it up, see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. You'll probably recognize this. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger with those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know that I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you.
Look, that was Old Testament God. I still have questions I need to ask my pastor about Job, because I kind of don't know how I feel about God and the devil making a bet to see how, terrible they can make someone's life.
Yeah. It's just, oh, so bad.
Good night, my Mini 67.
Good night.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, religion requires faith, and sometimes you have to take everything and figure things out. John, thank you for the super chat. Lizard people definition: those who collect and thank you.
Emulsify.
And gelflings. Let's be honest. We haven't seen a gelfling in the wild for a long time.
True.
And we've seen Governor Holkel out and about, so I'm telling that woman is a skexy, and she doesn't even hide it.
Is it what?
Dark Crystal, the weird bird evil puppets.
Oh, okay.
Look up one of those and then look up Governor Holkel. She's not even hiding it. From New York. Welcome to Tangent Engaged Chat with Mo and Vale.
It's Chad's fault. Just blame Chad. It's always them.
Well, just like I think that Nancy Grace looks like Ursula, so.
Oh, well, and that one. Yeah.
You can watch her show if you imagine her purple. It makes it watchable. I'm just saying, for a friend, I'm telling you, it'll work. But then you'll have some really weird dreams, so.
Murders. If it was God or if it was the devil fooling me.
Did you feel like you were doing the right thing for these people?
No. I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, but it wasn't what was right for them.
Okay, wait. And these differing feelings didn't make you think, maybe it's not God?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that would have been my first guess.
Yeah. Like, ma'am, have you seen Touched by an Angel?
Get this woman 40 cc's of Roma Downey in a white dress right now.
Yeah.
I remember my mom used to love Touched by an Angel.
Oh, I remember because it was a thing when I was like a teen, and then some stuff went off the rails with that show later. Is Seventh Heaven?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my mom liked me watching that one too.
Yeah, until dear old dad decided to do some weird stuff.
Perv on a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
So James, then, it was an evening that this one took place, right?
Yep.
It says here at about 9:30.
Yeah.
Run me through.
About
Portion of
9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. He's not diabetic. So I used a borrowed insulin pen, borrowed insulin, and gave him an insulin shot. And at 3:30, the PSW, well, throughout the night he was yelling out, "I love you," and "I'm sorry." It's not to me, but just you could hear him calling out in his room, and that's what he was calling out. And then at 3:30.
How can you talk about this? Like, well, okay, so I gave him, and then, I heard him confessing his sins to his hallucination wife. And, he seemed like he was taking just a long time to die. Really? I was wanting to, go play Wordle.
Yeah. That's just cold. Like,
Yeah, this is the most evil person in the most grandma package.
yeah. It's just gross. It's gruesome.
Yeah. Michael Landon told her to do it. She watched Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, just one too many times and didn't follow up with that Touched by an Angel, two-parter.
She's more of a Buffy fan.
True. Well, most likely.
Yeah. She just thought they were all vampires.
Oh my God. This woman she has to have a higher body count. I don't think that these 14, I think they're the 14 that were the most obvious.
Mm-hmm.
She gives me Hannibal Lecter chills. Just the dichotomy of what she did, how calm she is about it, and how, again, Canadian they are about this whole thing.
Yeah, that part's a little strange. It's just like the difference when you see like a lot of American detectives doing interrogations versus like this guy who's Canadian, like how they unfold and like the way like they approach it is very different, like than I think most Americans would probably approach it.
Well, so if I remember correctly, the UK police and I'm guessing corresponding Canadian police use the peace method. So it's very, it's kind of like the Reed method, but it's much less confrontational.
Yeah.
So their interrogations are definitely a lot more, well, okay, but we know about this. So would you like to explain this?
Yeah, I've watched a couple British ones recently, and it's a weird thing to watch because like they'll ask a question and like I've even seen a few of them get a little heated, but the people can like they're just like no comment, and they just move on, and it's like that's it. You're just gonna leave it there, like you're just gonna take no comment for an answer.
Like, do we have a phone book? I mean, anyone?
Yeah, it's like okay.
Yeah.
The PSWs came to me and said that he was gone. So I did what we're supposed to do. I went and listened to his heart and chest, called the doctor, called the family because that's what they wanted. Family came in and sit with him for a while.
You're fine.
Doctor came in and said that his cause of death was from
my mom's too.
An embolism due to his post-hip. He'd had hip surgery. Doctor ruled it embolism due to post-hip surgery.
Who do you think he was talking to when he was yelling out, "I love you"?
I thought it might be his family. I really did. When they came in and talked to me, they wanted to know if he'd said anything. So I told him that I was so ashamed. So ashamed. Yeah.
When you were speaking with the family.
How can you? Okay. I mean, again, this is just a level of evil I couldn't even imagine. Like the Lucy Letby thing, where she would
Mhm.
unalive the kids and then insert herself into the family's grief.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. You see it a lot though, like with
Yeah.
people who like are super like, because there's people who do unaliving, right? And then there's people who
Yeah.
are like evil who do it. And the people
Yeah.
who, I mean, they're all evil, but you know what I mean.
Well,
But the
yeah,
people,
it's like a certain special level of sadistic and cruel.
yeah, like those people, like the lengths that they go to do things is kind of scary. Like it's yeah. Because they'll like
Yeah.
apologize to the family. Oh, like hey, like Jodi Arias, she sent
Yeah.
flowers to the funeral and of Travis's grandmother, I think it was. Yeah, it's just
Yeah. Just
real sick stuff.
well, and the way she can divorce herself from that and just go on and continue living her life like she's boxed up all of these things. It, it's just so skin crawly.
Yeah, like as a normal human being, we're finding it very difficult to find this relatable because we're
Well,
not that way.
yeah. I mean, I'd much rather I can honestly understand Robert Picton, the pig farm guy who unalived, I think 36 to 40 women. I can maybe it's because she is the scariest person that you could imagine. She's a nurse. She doesn't look like she's going to do anything wrong, and
Yep.
you are basically helpless when you're in,
Her care,
you know,
yeah.
a medical situation,
Yeah.
and that she could just go on. It's terrifying to know that there's probably still people out there doing things like this, and you never know. Now I'm never going to the hospital again. I'm becoming a Scientologist. Sure, I have like Ubers of Thetans or whatever.
I'll work on your dinner plate in the chain. I'll start working on that for you, Mo.
Thank
For your
you.
Scientology.
I'm just trying to get close to Tom Cruise. Tell him, look, I find your unitooth really, really creepy, and could you fix it? You have a gajillion dollars, please. No, his tooth,
I
his middle
know.
teeth don't line up in the middle. He's got one over to the side, and you
Yeah,
would think if you know, got all
well,
the Xylons out of you that you would have fixed that.
well, like, I mean, but at some point in time, right? It's part of your look. So, like, I know people used to give him, and they probably still do, like Michael Strahan, right? Like, he has the gap in between his front teeth, and people used to dog him
Oh,
about
yeah.
it all the time. And it's like, but that's how everybody recognizes him now. Like, it's almost like his brand. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, so I
True.
can see how they may not want to fix it, but like, you would think as somebody who is in Hollywood, right, where like looks are
Yeah.
literally everything, that he would have, you know, fixed that wandering weird tooth by now.
Well, I mean, he's vain enough to wear lifts when he was married to Nicole Kidman. You'd think he'd be vain enough to fix the unitooth,
Yeah.
just because it bothers me.
Oh, that's funny.
This woman, she's just talking to the family, you know. Well, he was yelling out for some of you. Good God.
Yeah, that's just horrible.
Yeah.
And is that the family that kind of commended you for the work that you had done? And
Yes, and that I've been
how much
there
they
for
appreciate that?
and yes,
How'd that make you feel?
awful. Absolutely awful.
How did you deal with it?
I just went home, went to bed. You know, I felt awful. Maybe I fought with my girlfriend. Did some
I think you're muted. Yep.
So you went to sleep? How did you? Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a level of depravity that's yeah.
And I will say kudos to this cop. I understand he's actually getting a lot of information and answers for the family. So as much as we joke about, how Canadian he is, and but I could not keep my face under wraps. I'd be like, you went to sleep? Even
Yeah.
my voice would have been like,
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah.
you
Yeah.
felt so terrible you had to take a napapoo.
Yeah. There's that. See, I have this problem. It's like I have a conscience. Like this little voice in my head would be nagging the ever living one out of me. It's like
Did you ever watch Moral Oral, ma'am? Come on now.
moral
Sheeblets.
oral.
Or did you ever read the Highlights magazine? Goofus and Gallant?
I remember highlights, but I don't remember that.
They always had like two side-by-side comics, and it was usually like one, good boy with like his hair all straight and combed, and he was kindly giving the librarian books or help pick a mess, and then so that was Gallant. And Goofus was, like running around with his shirt untucked and, throwing things. So
Oh, I don't remember that. Huh. Interesting. Oh,
fought with her
Jesus.
girlfriend. No, it was a little claymation. Hell, I'll go Veggie Tale since Moral Oral is a bit. But you didn't, watch Larry the Tomato or
Larry
whatever
the
his name was?
Cucumber.
Larry the Cucumber. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you guys. So if you're ever on eBay and need to laugh, there is VeggieTales made a vibrating asparagus child's
Oh,
toy.
no. Oh.
I mean, you tickle it and it would giggle.
Oh, dear.
If only they'd had a Mo on the production line, like, hey guys, this, yay for Jesus and everything. And I'm sure you guys have no idea that these things exist, but the asparagus
Isn't the
that
right
vibrates.
one. Yeah. You should definitely make that the cucumber, not the asparagus. Because the whole family can enjoy it.
Mr. Mo is back here. You need Jesus. I was like,
Yeah.
sir, you done known this for years.
Exercising, play some games on the
Wait.
computer and just try to forget.
Also, things that never happen. Ma'am, you did not go home, do some burpees after you unalived someone. She's like, look, I had to get my cardio in. I did some jumping jacks. Maybe fought with my girlfriend.
She went and thumbed the wall.
Just what? Like, come on. You did not work out. Let's look from one fella figure out to another. I will tell you when I work out because it's like an event.
Did you have a problem sleeping that night at all? Or anything?
I don't
Or did you-
remember.
Well, I was working nights, so I was,
During the day then?
I would say I tossed and turned a bit, yeah. Felt pretty bad. And I didn't want to see the family again.
But then I
So
did some
tried to make
gas
sure
X
I
and I was
wasn't listening.
fine.
They came to pick up their stuff and I wasn't.
And what room, do you remember, like a room number or just like you
No,
said?
it was down in our phone.
The wing, yeah. Where did you get the insulin from for James, for Mr. Silcox? You said you had taken some insulin. Where did you get those?
The insulin was kept in a fridge in the medication room.
Okay.
We had 2 medication rooms. Insulin was kept in a fridge in the medication room. And, extra pens were kept in the drawer. So you could just say somebody who had someone admitted and you needed a pen in a hurry. So you just put the insulin in the pen and put the needle on and dial up the dose and give it.
And how was that documented? To know that, so that Crescent Care would know that you were taking that insulin?
They didn't keep track of insulin.
Okay.
Well,
This shows
no
very poor
crap.
security.
Also, yeah, why do you have insulin just hanging out? To be fair, they probably assumed that their nurses weren't going to do anything with insulin.
Yeah. And if it's like an emergency thing, because how it sounds like if somebody needed it in a hurry and or whatever, like it'd almost be like it sounds like they
Yeah.
had like a drawer full of probably insulin and EpiPens and like, the life-saving things to grab in a hurry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they probably expected somebody to do this.
No. Well, I mean, it's the same reason I have to show like my birth certificate, give a blood sample, and promise to never to join a DARE program because I want to get some NyQuil with some actual nasal decongestant in it now.
Yeah, it's crazy what we have to
People
do
had
to
to
buy
screw it
something
up
like.
for all of us.
Yep, all them, all them.
Street alchemist.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better word than I was looking for.
Rural chemistrology hobbyist.
Yeah, Walter White wannabes.
Yes.
Oh, I broke up with him in, end of January, beginning of February 2007.
Okay, so it was quite some time till September until you actually,
Yeah,
all right, I guess,
by that time I was in a new relationship with a woman.
okay. Who was that?
Okay.
Her name was Maureen.
And maybe not to fight against stereotypes, but I think she and this new woman knew each other for about 3 weeks before she moved in.
Mm. Okay. I mean, that's a thing, I guess. I mean,
Welcome.
not. I'm not sure if that's a recommend or not, but yeah,
Well, so Nanya, I will say that some of the hospitals, it wasn't really their fault. The practice was when she would get fired or let go from other facilities for being drunk or taking medicine or things like that, because of union rules and because of possibility that if they gave her a bad review and then she didn't get a job and she found out about that, she could sue them for, not defamation, but basically not helping her get a job.
yeah,
And all of her terminations were changed to something like, we needed certain times or different things. They really didn't carry forward a file with all of her shortcomings.
yeah. Because that would probably be something like I'm gonna guess that maybe something along the lines of like tortious interference, because it'd be like
Well,
a
yeah.
contract.
Yeah, so and there is a nursing union, I believe, in
Yeah,
Canada, which would, when she would get, termination, would basically negotiate, "Hey, you can't say anything bad to future employers."
yeah,
So I don't know if they've reformed that, but it should be something that is reformed. It happened a lot in America as well, with our Angels of Mercy unalivers. So it's not something that's just unique to Canada. There
yeah,
is a big issue. Well, just like police officers, you know, you'll see some police officers that hop to department to department to department because they're not very good.
yeah. Or they have disciplinary issues and things like that. But I saw that you clicked on this guy for a minute. So J.K.D. Buck about
Yeah.
the Canadian serial people.
Yes.
So apparently there's actually quite a few of them.
Yeah.
I have been going down a rabbit hole of another channel over the past few weeks, and you'd be surprised how many Canadian serials there are.
Oh, I have not been a big South Park, or well, I haven't watched South Park in a long time because anytime I would try to watch it, in our main living room before we all got iPads and stuff, the kids would want to watch cartoon show, and obviously, so I just watched the South Park about the murder prawn,
Mm-hmm.
like all the parents watching Discovery ID, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, this resembles me, but I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Labor laws. Mm.
Did you ever disclose to her what you were doing?
No, absolutely not.
So you just kind of went about your thing with Mr. Silcox?
Yeah.
Went home that day, did your kind of some exercising, computer games, went to sleep. Did you work again that next day?
I don't remember.
Do you remember who you would have been working with on that occasion?
No,
No?
no, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, are you okay?
Yeah,
You want to get up and stretch?
I just do a lot of fidgeting.
Okay, that's okay. Hey, you're not bothering me. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
If I need something, I'll do it.
Okay. You betcha.
The wildest
Do you remember who
lobster
your supervisor was
action
at
with
that point?
shrimps that you'll
Well,
ever
that would
see
be Helen
beyond
Conway.
That
Sizzler.
was the head nurse.
Yeah, she was always like, whoever was on as the nurse was the charge nurse. So I was the charge nurse. And at night, so as the charge nurse, from 3 to 11, I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, the sad thing is that the nurses that were the LPNs and the CNAs that were under her complained a lot to management, like that she was rude and dismissive of patients, that she was abrupt, that she wasn't doing her casework, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of ignored them because she was the charge nurse.
Yeah. Which is stupid.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 PSWs. And I was yeah. And then there was 2 other wings. And so at night, as the charge nurse, I was responsible to
That is
look
good
after
to know.
the RPN on the other side, like be a resource for her.
Okay.
There were 4 PSWs on that side and 4 PSWs on my side, so 9 people.
Okay.
And then Mrs. Conway, of course, she was around me.
Okay. She's for case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's who we all answered to. She was, her and the executive director, Brenda, I don't remember her last name.
Maybe
Sorry,
she's
I'm
sipping
probably
her
gonna
water.
pass gas individually.
That's fine. So, as far as Mr.
Wait a minute. Did she just say, excuse me, I'm going to pass gas, but it's not intentional?
It's unintentional.
Unintentional. The guy's like, I'm still dying.
Like there's Geneva Conventions, lady.
And he is just scoot way close to the danger zone. He doesn't have time to get under a desk or anything.
Yeah. He is definitely in the line of fire.
They just start hearing clawing on the door. Let me out.
It's really why this guy's bald. All his hair fell out.
Well, at least he
noxious
burned out
fumes.
his nasal hairs too.
Yeah. He tells
So
everybody it was
how it goes then.
alopecia.
Besides what you were feeling in your stomach, and besides that you thought that this was a purpose that you were given
Foreshadowing.
from your relationship after breaking up with your husband, right?
Yeah.
You indicated that he wasn't a very nice man.
No, he wasn't.
Is that a portion of what happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wonder if that's a portion of how I chose him. And afterwards I did feel a release and a relief. Like a release of pressure.
Okay. Because throughout this document, and as we go through it, a lot of these people.
Also foreshadowing, and to help save you in case you're in the middle of a snack, she will also explain that she felt a different kind of release as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
So
the
trigger warning, I guess, or bucket warning, whichever
Yeah.
you choose to.
it's yeah. Strap in.
Both.
Although Wettlaufer describes
No, long sounds, nurse goes and calls the doctor on call.
Okay.
There was also a sheet that we had to fill out if we thought it was a coroner's case. In this case, I don't believe we thought it was. And then, family is called.
You're the charge nurse. You would be the one that would say, hey, this is a suspicious coroner's case. So I'm guessing you didn't fill that out.
Yeah, probably not. Probably neglected to do that.
You put her in the other, that chair had had enough.
The acoustics are better in this corner.
He's like,
And the doctor may wait to come in and pronounce in the morning.
Okay.
Family can come in and visit the body at any time. So then the PSWs would get the body ready.
Okay. So prior to the doctor announcing in the morning, the family could come in and
Yeah.
spend time.
Yeah, so the PSWs would just clean them up, put on, clean breeches and
Right.
clean up the bed and stuff.
Right. So you said, Mr. Silcox, you said we didn't think it was a coroner's case. Who's just what did that think?
I guess I'm using the royal we.
Okay. Gotcha.
There you go.
Okay. So would that be just a decision that you were trusted to make?
No, there's a form
Okay.
on the computer, and you go down through it, and if you tick off anything that says yes, you notify the coroner.
Okay. All right. But you would have clicked off those boxes.
it was a foreigner, I swear. I was letting them listen to it and it got them all excited. I should have stuck with Hall & Oates.
Yeah. It's this woman creeps me out.
She really does. She is the scariest person. And we went through Stephanie Lazarus of the face of Satan. I mean,
Yeah, right?
like if Gumby, Jim Carrey, and Satan had a baby, that was her face.
Yeah.
You notify the coroner.
Okay. All right. But you would have clicked off those boxes yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, knowing that you had done this to Mr. Silcox, did you feel that you wouldn't click yes so that attention wouldn't be drawn to you?
I honestly can't remember if he was coroner case or not. He might have been.
Now, would insulin...
Wait, is she saying that I wasn't trying to be clever? I don't know why I didn't click yes.
Yeah.
This woman is a cartoon.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I there's some of these people when we start getting into like their interrogations, like my brain starts to break because I just don't understand at all. Like
Yeah.
the logical processes that they're going through. I just don't understand.
Well, it's hard to figure out if she was so conniving or just plain dumb luck and bureaucratic inefficiency.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting one to think about as to like how did she do it, or did nobody really look into it too much because unfortunately these people were old or sick.
I think that it didn't come to attention until she went after more healthy patients.
Yeah. I think that is the part that's kind of sad and gross.
Yeah, and I really do think that she probably has a long line of patients they couldn't prove, but I'm guessing her number is way higher than 13.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though I did this to these people, when I did but see, it's phrased as, does anyone have a reason to believe that this death was not natural?
Right.
So yeah, I would click.
Yes, any thought I have of you with that word is not natural, right? And I don't think those captions, damn you, I have a wild imagination.
Well,
And she donned the furry suit. My fursona is.
mm, what
I
would
just
she
had to share
be?
that with everyone.
What would she be?
A sloth? I don't know what.
Um,
I imagine her being like a sloth from Zootopia.
okay. Okay. I could see where you're going with that.
Or
I
she,
don't
she was doing cardio, so maybe she was going to be a horse and she was prancer-sizing.
Prancer section.
I'm telling you, Veilhammer, look it up. Watch the videos. Go to the website.
Oh
It
no.
is. It will make you question a benevolent and kind God, but it's hilarious too. So,
All righty.
in case you're ever up at 3 a.m. wondering about things, it's perfect for those times.
That's funny.
I wouldn't click that one. Find
Right.
on the, yeah, you're right.
This seems like an unethical.
This seems unethical.
You think?
Captain Obvious.
It's like,
Seems like she shouldn't lie on the patient form. Does anyone need to, check this death as suspicious?
oh dear,
Okay.
this is actually a thing.
He was sometimes a patient of mine. See, at that time, I didn't have a set floor that I worked on. I worked on all the different floors of the nurse, kind of filling in. So,
Yeah.
one afternoon I was working with him and he did grab me. And again, I got that feeling inside that this is his time to go. So I gave him an overdose.
I'm sorry. Are you like Bill Paxton in Frailty? You touch people and can tell when their time is and if they're demoned or not?
Yeah. Or the Sixth Sense. She just sees dead people. One of the two. I mean,
She's like Miss Cleo. She's like, this one doesn't have long to go.
yeah. It's just it's a field of screams.
Oh my gosh. Welcome, Squid Pro Quo. Oh dear Lord.
Was this one after supper. And I believe he died the next day.
And what was your shift that, do you remember what shift
It
you were
was
working at that
3
point?
to 11.
3 p.m.?
Yeah, to 11 p.m.
Till 11 p.m., so like
So
that.
he died when I wasn't there.
Okay. And he was known for, it says here, grabbing the staff's breasts and asses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, did our Canadian constable say the word ass? I'm so proud of him. You'll be American soon.
Yeah.
And do you remember
And
who you were working with
things
at that
that
point?
never happened for 500
No.
Alex.
Okay. Do you remember where Maurice was within Crescent Care?
Yeah, he was down in the north wing. I think he was in the double room on the right-hand side. Yeah.
Do you remember who his
And then-
roommates would have been at all?
No, I don't. But I do remember that when he started going downhill after the insulin overdose, they moved him to the palliative care room right by the nurse's desk.
Okay. And at what point of the day do you think that you, sorry, I think you said this already, but just to confirm, what time of the day do you think it was when you had injected him with
And
it?
I injected him. It was afternoon. I think it was 4:30, 5:30.
Okay. All right. And what was his reaction to receiving the insulin?
Again, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. And he said, the doctor wants you to have a vitamin shot. That's what I usually say.
And was he able to communicate?
Okay, can we just throw her to Snake Island
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, you're telling him it's a vitamin shot. Like that's yeah.
It's probably the only
Uh.
time she ever smiled at this poor, guy. It's like, "Hey, we gotta give you a vitamin shot." And he's like, "Wow, she must be really nice today." Maybe someone said something nice to her.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's just gross. It just really
Yeah.
is. It's gross because she's taking advantage of people who, like you said, are like they're basically helpless. They're dependent on her as a healthcare provider, essentially, and she's taking advantage of that. And that just, I don't know, that feels gross.
Well, that and the fact that she could just go about her daily life. This happened between 2006 and 2000. Let me double check that. 2007 to 2016. So it's not like, this was all in one year or anything. No, she just picked out people that bothered her.
Yeah,
Just and it's the packaging. The packaging looks like someone you would trust. The packaging and the voice, and that's the most scary part of it.
yeah, exactly. The fact that she comes.
I'm gonna have to ask all my nurses now. Are you feeling like you're talking to either God or Satan? And do you have a weird feeling in your stomach coming in here? You need a vitamin shot. The hell I do.
Yeah, like, excuse me, I'm good.
Yeah. Ma'am, it's just some saline. Give me that. I have a test kit right here. Thank you.
Yeah, give me some salt and water. I'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Is he verbal
He was verbal,
to converse?
not totally, but he could say something. Yeah.
Okay. And did he question his vitamin shot at all?
No,
And he passed away the next day?
Yeah.
Okay. So, being that you weren't there when he had passed away, you wouldn't have been the one checking the boxes.
that's right.
So, by chance, what nurse would have been responsible
Sweat
for
I would. Just
Burnett?
kidding. Don't take
No, I
medical
don't.
advice from me.
Okay. Did you ever have any concerns that he didn't pass away while
Sorry,
you were
Nanny
working
Poo.
and that, suspicion may arise?
No, I didn't. Well, yes, I did a little bit. I always wondered if they'd find the site where I gave the shot and something, there'd be an investigation. I always wondered that.
Right.
But other than that, no.
And even though it passed through your mind, that you just
And
continued on about your duties?
Yeah.
And do you remember what part of the body he would have been injected in?
Maybe the leg. Because at that point he didn't have a lot of body fat, so
Murray's didn't.
he didn't know. And when you get a subcutaneous injection, it goes in to the body fat, so.
Okay. And you documented that he was a cancer patient?
Yes,
Okay. Do you remember what type of cancer he had?
I think it was prostate. Prostate, yes.
Okay. And what was?
He had frustrated costume plastic cancer.
Yeah.
God bless these closed captions, because if you actually think about the what's being said, it's just so horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, thank you, closed captions.
But
Because
the fact that she remembers like all of the details of like where she did it, what were they sick with, and all this stuff, like it seems very
she has a journal
off.
somewhere and she wrote all of the feelings and like had a great day today at work. That,
Yeah.
SOB who grabbed my boobs, is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That part's just that just rubs me the wrong way. That part.
Yeah. That's why we need the closed captions.
Yes, they make them funny.
Okay, she said prostate cancer. How did you get frustrated costume plastic?
Well, when she said that she was ashamed, it said that I said awesome, I think, if I remember correctly. Said I felt awesome is what it said.
God bless it.
I was
At this
like,
point,
well,
I could do closed caption.
yeah. It's like, well, technically, no lies detected, actually. So,
True.
What did the outcome hold for his future as far as the cancer in his body?
He was died,
How old do you think Maurice was?
75, 76.
His name was Maurice, not Moose.
I'm sorry, he was in a double room?
Yeah, I believe it was a double room, yeah.
Do you remember who you had been working with that day?
No.
Same supervisor, or the charge, or the head nurse?
Sorry,
That's okay.
It's so far.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's a significant event in your life.
Yes, the Lori Letby case, and then there was another, I want to say it was Brenda Atley. There have been a couple nurse, but those are those are baby cases, and I was like, ugh.
those are rough ones. I mean, this is bad too. I mean, but still, like when it's kids, it's even worse.
It was Beverly Allett. I was like, why do I
Yeah.
remember that? But yeah, those, I mean, this one is hard because we all, have grandparents or relatives that, will get older, and this scares the living good Jesus out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the baby ones, ugh. Look, there is Gen Pop Justice allegedly in Minecraft for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned that you can't remember every question that I ask you. If you can do the best that you can, that's all I can ask for.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, she's going to get a participation
Wettlaufer
award.
continues to
I just, I wasn't there when he passed away. I didn't work that day.
Do you remember if you worked the next day?
I might have. I know when I found out that he died, I looked to see how long it took and figure out the notes and stuff to see what it cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just getting a point out to fit it with.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever you need. So after you found out he had passed, you kind of read through the documents and
Yeah.
do you remember seeing anything that kind of said, oh,
No,
this isn't a good thing for me, or?
no.
Okay. So
And even if I had, I couldn't have altered them.
you could have or
Could not.
Okay. The next person on your list is Helen Matheson.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go from September or October to 07.
Yeah.
And then Helen was 2011.
Yeah.
What happened between those years?
I think, you'll see that
Was there some attempts?
attempts,
In 08, 09?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, and we'll get to those.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, no, I want my LinkedIn murder file to be correct. I did attempt to do this. I just kind of didn't fully succeed.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, like it's like, yeah, no, like you have to get it right. Like, when they write the Netflix documentary about me, I want to make sure that they get all the facts right. Then
Elizabeth Wettlaufer movie played by Queen Latifah. Yeah, I can. If it's on Netflix.
yeah, it's
Yeah, let's keep going.
Helen, I don't
She's like,
remember
no,
well,
I
but
did try.
Very quiet, very determined. Just seemed to be waiting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had that feeling that, this was the one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I made a bit of a fuss about her that night because she was very lucid.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how much she liked blueberry pie and ice cream.
Okay.
So on my break, I went to Walmart. I got a small blueberry pie and some ice cream.
She likes it and was very high in ice cream. I love my ADHD. I don't pay attention to everything, but if it's something funny.
yeah, it was very high in ice cream.
And how evil and sadistic is it to go out and basically get this woman her last meal? You've sat down, you've talked to this woman, she was lucid. You know, you've talked to this woman. She's not just a patient anymore. She's a human. Her
Yeah.
favorite, stuff. Ugh, this woman is so ugh.
She was towards the end of her
Yeah.
life at that
I
point.
know that she was the person to go next.
And that was in your mind, in your stomach.
Yeah.
Where was that feeling?
In my chest
In your
area. And
chest.
after I did it, I got that laughter.
Wait, so your nipular area can detect death?
That's a new one.
I mean, mine can only detect the cold. I feel like I got
You got the shaft, Mo.
yeah, really.
She
At
got the
least mine-
upgraded model.
I mean, could mine at least like find my car keys when I lose them? Damn it.
If you just push them, your car will honk.
Oh my god. Just a little toot.
Oh dear.
We have been commenting on that for the whole time. I felt less creeped out when we looked at Joel Guy Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, he's another special boy.
Again, no one was ever going to hire that dude to put them under for plastic surgery. I'm sorry, that face makes me not want to be unconscious around you.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. This is true. Very true.
When would you feel that laughter? Would you feel it right after you injected it or once the person passed away?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
And Helen was, you state here that she wasn't a diabetic?
No.
Just out of curiosity, how much insulin would it take to kill someone
See, I
that
don't
wasn't a
know.
diabetic, or
I don't know.
you don't know that?
No. So it's kind of hit and miss.
You didn't know that as a nurse, that
It was kind of hit or miss. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Also, as the head charge nurse, you should know how to titrate medicines.
you would think, right? I mean,
Oh my gosh.
that's probably part of the job description, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
this amount, or?
No, there is no set amount.
Okay. And I'm just, I just
Yeah.
simply just don't know that
No,
answer.
there is
so
no
that's
set
fine.
amount.
Okay. All right, so
Well,
Different
yeah,
people.
no, they're not going to put on the label, this is how much it takes to unalive someone. Again, there are formulas you use. It's not like nurses just pick up a random amount of insulin and no one knows how to calculate how much insulin someone needs.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, we would just guess. I mean, I would always roll 30 at first and then see how much they needed later.
Yeah. It's like, I think this will do.
Well, also, yeah, there's no set place on a chart like it takes this much insulin to unalive this patient. She is
Yeah.
correct. They did not they did not label things.
That's not on the chart.
God. Oh.
people would react differently to different amounts,
Oh,
is that fair to say?
Yes.
I guess they can have a
And
life-death
it would
value.
obviously make a difference if they were diabetic or not a diabetic.
This means that her
You get along with her okay? Did she ever do anything to harm you, or?
No, she was very quiet. It was just, I got that feeling that she's next, this is her time to go.
And her
Man,
health at
never
that
trust
point,
your
what was her
nipples
diagnosis?
then.
She
Jesus.
was, I couldn't tell you her diagnosis, just that she didn't get out of bed a lot, and she had to be fed her food, fed her pills. So she was near her end of life.
How old do you think Helen was when this happened?
This day about 85 or 86.
And do you remember
And
what
she's
doctor
young enough to be president,
you there
ma'am.
when she passed away 2 days later?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So you wouldn't be which doctor pronounced or even
No.
too sure?
One time Casey insulin overdose, unless I was there for the shift that died, I just kind of laid low and didn't, have anything to do with them.
So if you issued an insulin injection to somebody, Helen, for instance, do you remember where Helen was injected?
Probably her arm.
Okay. So do you remember if she had a reaction at all?
A reaction?
You know, if she confronted you in what you were doing at all? Was she able to,
She might have said ow.
was she used to getting insulin or needles?
I don't know
or-
if she was.
Okay. What he is trying to get at is, did you lie and tell her it was a vitamin shot?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm guessing she said ow because no one likes to get shots. But did you lie to this woman after you gave her, punch and pie? Did you lie to her full Cartman and say, no, this chili isn't your parents? I mean,
Yeah. And I hate the fact that she said she was a good 85 or 86. She's good.
I mean, this woman, okay, let's be real, because she creeps me out and she's terrible. But this woman is large to the point of immobility. Does she not realize that the tables are going to be turned on her at some point? At some point, she is going to be helpless and, at the mercy of some nurse who might
Yeah.
just decide that she is a little too bothersome and doesn't want to deal with her.
That thought probably never crossed her mind because she clearly thinks that she can play God.
Well, true. Her boobs are magic.
Clearly.
Right. But she wasn't combative or she didn't confront you and ask you what you were doing?
No.
Unlike her descriptions of her
Gave them their insulin?
I tried to stay away from it. Sometimes I was very interested to see what was happening. I would just try to stay away from it.
Would you ever go back into their rooms while they were still alive to see kind of how they were progressing through the?
If they were my charge, yes, I had to.
Even though you had attempted to take their lives?
Yeah.
And you would, what kind of symptoms would they show? Is it different for everyone, or?
Well, usually they'd get very diaphoretic, red. They could lose consciousness. They'd shake. Some people, one person.
Yeah. What she's alluding to is that dying of, an insulin overdose is not a quick way to die.
Yeah.
It's something that is lingering. I mean, you can go to or you can become unconscious. You can have a lot of it's a slow and prolonged way. If she had wanted to, I don't know why I'm saying, there would have been different things to use if she had wanted to actually be an angel of mercy and, peacefully shuffle someone off their mortal coil.
Yeah, exactly. There's better ways to do it than this.
Yeah. So I very much doubt that she stayed away from these patients. I think she enjoyed watching them suffer.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right.
Had a seizure. I think it was just one person. 2 people stroked right out.
Right after receiving
How? All right, we're gonna stop here. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my faith in humanity. Even though the closed captionings are trying their best to lift my spirits. And I apologize for the little bit of clickbait. She had some silent but deadly crop dustings that she did tell the cop about, but it's not the Shart Fest that is upcoming.
Yes. There is some entertainment coming.
Yes. But she is in prison. It's Canadian prison, so I don't know what they do up there. Hopefully, no one talks to her and she gets to just hotbox herself with her own gases. Or would that be the death penalty up there?
I don't know what that would be actually.
Would it be assisted unaliving?
I mean, it could be. I mean,
Like they could just give her 3 bags of White Castle, put her in a small little room all by herself.
the gas chamber.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think the natural, as what is it? Dr. Ian from Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
and so does her gas.
I'm telling you, this is why I'm not in charge of anything, because I can only imagine the punishments I would come up to or with.
Yeah.
No, I believe the death penalty was made they don't use it anymore in England, I think past the 50s. So they do not have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, unless you have, health conditions,
Well,
and then they do.
oh my God,
But
would that not be the irony of all ironies? She is now in some hospital somewhere getting mad or
yeah,
made.
but for criminals, no, they don't have it. But
No, of course
if you're
not.
feeling unwell, then sure.
Yeah. Anywho, thank you guys. This has been thank goodness we have the closed captions, because this woman is creepier than Hannibal Lecter, Freddy, and Nancy Grace all put together.
Yeah. For sure. She's a creepy one, that is for sure.
Well, we will see you guys next week. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. I am not sending you off to anyone. You are free to roam the internet at your own discretion. Be careful out there, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.